This story here just confirms why I am the way I am. I'm very selective on who I allow in my life. Very selective. And I tell my family and the friends I do have, be selective on who you allow in your life, because you could be inviting a freaking demon into your life. A real freaking demon. Now listen to this story. On a cold Sunday morning, on January the 7th, 2024, in Westland, Michigan, about 26 miles outside of Detroit, Michigan. Now in Westland, Michigan, it's a rural area, okay, the suburbs. It's about 85,000 people. The population is about 85,000 people. On that cold Sunday morning, a young lady by the name of Celeste, and she was very concerned about her mother not answering her phone call all day. She was like, wait a minute, something ain't right. This ain't like mom's. And she was right. So the young lady got in the car and drove over to her mother's apartment. She had a key. So when she went into the apartment, this eerie feeling got stronger as she went down the hallway. And when she went into her mother's bedroom, that's where she saw her mother laying in a pool of blood. Now she immediately ran over to her mother and touched her feet to see if she was still living, but her feet were cold. She immediately called 911, and when the police arrived to the mother's house, she was already dead. Unfortunately, she was gone. Now the mother name was Kelly Mays, 49-year-old Kelly Mays. Now Miss Mays was a hell of a woman. Okay. Now she went through a lot in life with bad relationships. In 2010, she had a relationship that came to an end when her youngest daughter, father, beat her so bad, she ended up in the hospital. Yes. And that day changed Kelly's life. She wasn't going to take that abuse any freaking more. Now the argument that her and her ex-boyfriend had was about their 1-year-old daughter's first birthday party. She felt like he wasn't contributing to the planning of it. And the argument started and it got worse and worse. And then later on that evening, he did some serious damage to her. She ended up in the hospital. Okay? Now she found the courage and the strength to overcome that. And she said that was the last freaking time a man ever put his hands on her. All right? Now she was a hell of a woman too. She was college educated. She had a master. She was going to school to get her master's degree. Okay? And she went to Central Michigan University. That's where she got a bachelor's in psychology. And she was working on her master's degree in psychology. And she eventually got it. All right? And she joined an organization called Haven, where she became a motivational speaker for this nonprofit organization called Haven in the local area. She became an activist for domestic violence. She was a counselor for kids. So this woman really had it going on. She really did. But her problem in my opinion, she liked guys that had that bad boy image. Yeah. And when she met her husband, her future husband, a year later after she dumped her youngest daughter's father. When she met him, that's when she met her faith. And she said something that just drove the beast out of her husband. And that's how she ended up the way she did. Now here's the story. Now in 2010 is when Kelly ended that abusive relationship. And then she met the infamous, AKA Jimmy Lee, around 2011, her future husband. Yeah. Now, Jimmy Lee was a local rapper in the city of Detroit. He was even in the movie 8 Mile with Eminem. But the part that Jimmy Lee was in, it didn't make the final cut. But he was in the movie. So he was a local rapper in Detroit. He was 31 years old when Kelly met Jimmy Lee. When she met the alpha demon that was inside of the young man. Now, they were married for 13 years. Some of it was good, according to family members and friends, but the majority of it was a lot of Jimmy picking at her and, you know, saying little verbal things, and it turned to hateful words and things of that nature. I think personally he was jealous of her career because his career wasn't going anywhere. It wasn't going anywhere. His rap career wasn't going anywhere. I read articles. I don't even know if he had a job or not. Okay, I think he was just doing local things and trying to live off the name that he created for himself through the years in Detroit, rapping and in the movie. But as far as his career going anywhere, it wasn't going anywhere. And I think he was jealous of his wife. I really do. And that was one of Kelly's downfall to me. She liked the bad boy image, the guys that look kind of rough or thuggish. Yeah. Now I didn't see a picture of her, the guy she was in, her youngest daughter's father. There was no picture of him nowhere. They don't even mention his name, but I'm pretty sure that his image was that of a bad boy look or a thug. I'm pretty sure it was. I think that's what she was attracted to. And eventually that was her downfall. And what's shocking to me is that this woman made all these right decisions and sacrificed all the hours, the time, the days to pursue a master's degree in psychology and help others and do some great work, good things for other people. But she couldn't even do it for herself. That's the sad thing about this. All the great advice she gave other women on get out of this abusive relationship, and you know, you have to love yourself. You know, it's not your fault. You have to find the strength and the courage to leave. You don't deserve this type of treatment. And she couldn't even take her own advice. Yeah. Now, Jimmy, if you look at images of Jimmy, just look into his eyes, I could see that he was possessed with a demon. I see it. It's a skill that I have that I developed over the years, looking for evil entities inside of people. Yeah, I saw it in him. Even when him and her were interacting like they was having fun, they was out and about, I could see that it was a struggle for him to act like he was happy, because he wasn't happy inside. I could see it. And I don't even know the man, but I could see it. Yeah. So on that fateful day, on Sunday morning, January the 7th, 2024, she told him she didn't want to be in that relationship anymore. But Jimmy didn't want to hear that. He didn't want to hear that. And this is where, when that beast inside the person comes out. Okay? Now, unfortunately for Kelly, she witnessed the evilness from Jimmy. That demon came out of him in her presence. She most likely she's seeing his eyes roll back or change colors. He was probably foaming at the mouth. His face features changed. His voice altered. These are just things when these people are possessed and their entire body makeup just change. And the person witnessed the demon. The alpha demon. Now, Jimmy, in 1993, Jimmy did prison time for assault charge and armed robbery. Yeah. And I don't want to sound disrespectful, but I'm pretty sure Miss Kelly knew about his record. And it doesn't mean anything about him doing, hell, I did prison time, but it doesn't mean anything. But you can look at him and tell that there was something disturbing about this young man. It was. And it ended up being true. It ended up being true. When she finally told him that she didn't want to be in this relationship anymore, she wanted a divorce, she saw the alpha demon come out of that young man. Yeah. And I feel for her because she was there alone and there was nothing she could do with him. Now, this was an overkill. He stabbed her 17 times, all in the neck area and the chest area. 17 times. Think about that. 17 times. That poor lady was probably trying to defend herself, but there was nothing she could do. She was overpowered by that demon. She was overpowered. So, in her family, she has a very positive family. Her father is a retired police officer for the city of Detroit. The mother and her twin sister, her oldest daughter, even her youngest daughter, they appear to be a very positive, loving family, you know. And they didn't really say too many bad words about Jimmy. They was more speaking on about how wonderful and great as an individual Kelly was. I didn't hear in all the interviews and all the clips that I've seen of the family, I didn't hear them say not one bad word about Jimmy. Not one bad word. Now, Jimmy was eventually given 18 to 40 years life in prison. After 18 years, he would be available for parole, which he most likely would never get. And the family said that they would be at every parole hearing, you know, after the 18 years, after he served 18 years. Now, in his statement, now he pled guilty to second degree murder. He didn't go to trial. He pled guilty to second degree. And in his statement, he said that he apologized to the family and he has sympathy for them, for their pain, their hurt, and that he, if he could apologize for 1 million times, he wished he could bring back Kelly. And you know, when people do things like what Jimmy did, most likely they're not going to sit and tell people what was inside them, that there was something, actually feel like something was living inside them, another person, another personality, another entity. They're not going to say that to people in court. They're not going to stand up in court and say, that there was something inside me that just took over me, and I blacked out, and I had no idea what I was doing. It was something so evil and vile. They're not going to say that. They're not. I think they're ashamed, and they don't think people are going to believe them. So they keep it to themselves. Like, I just lost control. I blacked out. You didn't black out. There was something so powerful that overtook your entire body, your entire being, that did that. Now, he turned himself in the same day that he committed that horrific crime. He turned himself in. He walked right into the police department and turned himself in. He did. I think when the demon finally allow himself to come back to himself, he realized what he did, and that's when he went to the police officer and turned himself in. Yeah. So this beautiful young lady, Kelly Mays, lost her life to a powerful demon, someone who she thought she could trust and love, which he probably most likely was a good dude, but he was possessed, man, with something evil inside him. And it showed his ugly face that day on January the 7th, 2024, when that poor lady was in her house by herself with that powerful demon. Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It really is. Okay, my friends, until the next video, take care, be safe, stay focused, be vigilant at all times, and please watch who you bring into your life, because you could be bringing in an evil, vile, powerful, demonic demon.